So
Okay. Well, sex is big on the internet,
yes, it is.
as always, and the thing that we notice is that oftentimes the line between sexuality and pornography is
Right.
blurred. And so when someone comes to your site and they ask questions and then they view other people's questions and answers, some of it does get into that area of being more like what Playboy used to do or still does, and even what Penthouse and some of the raunchier magazines do. So how do you distinguish for people the difference between sex therapy and dealing with sort of more of a spiritual side of it as well versus just the raunch that you see all across the internet?
Well, we've over the years, if you go and look at our experts, we've have about 60 experts who are all trained to answer questions in the area of sexual health, sex
Mm-hmm.
education, counseling, and therapy. We have an intake form when people ask a question that we can give very tailored answers. And so, although our language is frank and explicit, and the questions are sometimes may seem racy, we don't exploit sex, and I always say that we have like the least sexiest site about sex
Mm-hmm.
out there, and so people have interest in come to this site to find the answers to their own questions, and then there's a voyeuristic component to that where they're interested in reading and hearing about other people's experiences. So I think you'd find it very different than the Playboy or Penthouse forum,
Mm.
in that it's not just about telling stories about
Or who got who
your
and all
sexual
that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
escapades. These are real questions that people have about their personal concerns that they have not found answers elsewhere. They haven't gotten them from their doctor. They haven't gotten them from school. They haven't gotten them from church.
Mm-hmm.
So they could come to sexualhealth.com and find their answers.
Okay. But what makes you different? Because obviously there's a lot of people out there who give out advice that are either doctors or PhDs like yourself, or practitioners or psychologists or sociologists of some sort. What's different about the advice that you give on
I think
sexualhealth.com?
what's different about sexualhealth.com is that we set this up in 1996, and most of the content is just generated in response to users' questions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just a bunch of experts writing articles and talking. It's a bunch of experts responding to people's needs and questions. So,
Mm-hmm.
the thousands of pages that we have, the questions and answers on the site are there. We don't edit them. Unless people put their personal name or contact
Sure.
information in
Which
there.
you don't encourage them to do.
But we put our questions in whatever English or language that people use. We get people from all over the world accessing the site. So we keep that question in its purest form, and then we respond to that as frankly as possible. So
But you do get some raw questions,
absolutely,
and you have to give some very candid answers sometimes.
absolutely. So, but
People ask you about masturbation, I'm sure, regularly.
yeah.
People ask you about other things that some people would consider inappropriate for the public. Sometimes.
Well, I mean, that's a whole different issue.
Yeah.
So I think that any question about your sexual health and your sexual expression, your sexual response,
It's fair game.
It's fair game. It's
Mhm.
part of our health, and it's part of our our being fully human.
Mhm.
And so I was for many years working with the ACLU to fight the Child Online Protection Act. So my mother asked me why would I want to do that, and I said because it's not good law, and it would keep people from accessing good sexual health information.
Mhm.
And so yeah, there is a blur out there, and there's a lot of competition for the space. But we've developed a lot of credibility over the years for expert credentialed advice, and I've been struggling with the idea of going to Sexual Health 2.0.
Mhm.
How do you manage that with so much sexual misinformation out
Mhm.
there, and how we can do that in a responsible way,
Mhm.
where we can get more of our members' voices and stories present, but without other people coming in and kind of using that to sell some product or to
Well, but you're
exploit
selling
the cyber
products
game.
though on your site now. There
that's-
is some
I'm-
toys in there,
Yes,
and
we do. Yes, we do.
there's
And
some
then-
advertisers, and
Okay,
some
we
of
have
it is pharmaceuticals, right?
the site is advertising. Advertising supports the site.
Mhm.
We began to sell some sex toys, adaptive devices
Mm-hmm.
to help serve the people who come to the site. So there are right now affiliate programs with companies who I know the people that own the companies. I know they're reputable, good places. And so next move will be to begin to sell those products ourselves from the site. I'm very selective about the advertising that we accept on the site, so I don't accept advertisement for products that say that they're going to do anything, kind of cure or help people if it's not proven.
What about the blue pills?
The real blue pills, as far as Viagra,
We
yeah,
all know
so
what that's about nowadays.
well, I mean, Viagra is tested, and so if Pfizer wants to advertise on the site, and I believe in the past they've had campaigns there, or Levitra or
All the
Cialis,
spin-offs that have been coming out of nowhere.
they can, but when it comes to the blue elixir in a bottle or something that's really just a mix of caffeine and sugar, and people are selling it as a aphrodisiac, those things I don't accept. So
we won't see any Red Bull ads on your site
no,
at all.
no. You won't see any alcohol. You won't see any cigarettes. I mean, I have a degree in public health, and so I really, you have to try to maintain a healthy lifestyle and at least not promote one, because I mean, cigarette smoking is detrimental to your sexual health. Contrary to beliefs,
Drugs.
drugs and all these can work against you in keeping yourself sexually healthy and to have pleasure. And so that is an area where, but you will find vibrators and self-stimulators and lubricants and music and educational, but explicit videos there. So things where people could get the education if they want by buying a good video that's educational around a specific issue. It may be sex and aging, it may be sex and pregnancy, whatever the issue is. They would have these videos have folks like me with expertise giving the education, but then they have couples, real couples, telling their stories and demonstrating
Testimonials.
Yes,
Gotta have validity.
Well, these are videos where actually people demonstrate sexual techniques. So from many of them are from the Better Sex video series. So once again, I only carry products or promote companies that I have personal relationships with, folks who own or run the companies, produce the videos. And so there's a certain level of quality control that I get to have because it's my website, my company.
Sure.
And so
And you are the, so to speak, the organizer, in addition to being the founder.
yes.
So you're the daily hands-on guy.
I'm the hands-on guy. We have a small staff. I have a content manager, a chief operating officer, chief medical officer. So, and especially when it comes to sometimes with products that look like they might have some product promise, I'll have my chief medical officer, I was an MD and a PhD, look over the product and see, what's been published. And so anyway, I have a team that keeps things going, and I'll have to say we're quote-unquote a for-profit company, but it's a kind of a rare breed where I have these 60 experts who volunteer because they believe in our mission to help make sexual health information easily accessible. And in 1996, that was novel. A lot of people have began to jump on the bandwagon, which I think is good, because the more accurate sexual health information out there, the better. We still have a very special niche on the web. You'll see us grow and change over the next few months to come into the more Web 2.0, Health 2.0 space.
Yes.
So,
well, that's what's going on.
We've been here. We'll be here for a long time, and you'll watch us grow and change.
If you want to watch and grow yourself, then you can come to sexualhealth.com. And you'll get more than enough to titillate your interests in the general topic. And I'm sure you can share that with as many friends as possible. I'm sure that Mitchell would advise you to do so and advocate. Again, sexualhealth.com. You'll see a lot. If you have any suggestions or thoughts to share, you have many people that would be interested in hearing what you have to say. And again, I want to say hello and thank you so much to Mitchell Tepper, who's visiting here from Atlanta, Georgia. He's up here for Veterans Day and a conference that's going on here at the Renaissance Hotel. Everyone knows what that is, in Northwest and 9th Street across from our convention center. And again, happy Veterans Day to everyone, and certainly to our returned veterans of the latest circumstances abroad. We wish very good luck to everyone in recovering and coming back to our society.
Right.
So we'll be talking to you again. Again, Mitchell Tepper with sexualhealth.com.
Thank you.